Today I will lay bare my research on the Parasite Chambers and how it came to be, the exact lore story behind its origins. An old Reddit post reminded me of this theory, and it hasn't come far ever since. The speculation so far has arrived at a conclusion. The Parasite Chambers is a long-lost guild hall previously inhabited by a proud guild of adventurers who suffered a gruesome demise. The ending there was of my own making. Some evidence to support this theory was also brought to the table. The Troom rooms look almost exactly like the guild hall. To further support this idea, the walls of the Parasite Chambers are also somewhat similar to the guild hall walls in the secret jail room, accessible by typing in "Open Sesame" in a highly upgraded guild hall. But you know, it outlines the story, but I want to get into a bit more detail on what exactly happened to this guild. How did the parasites come to be? Why did all the guildies die? I will now be answering those with my own theory, and the first thing to look into is of course some research, some background information to serve as a good foundation for a solid theory in the end. We could ask the real Mai, or just real Mai, or just both of them. Now what we will do is uncover some information that might reveal to us how the spread of this parasitic disease happened. First things to look at are of course the item descriptions, since these usually reveal a lot of information about the dungeon. Starting off with the Tome of Pain, the item description hints that even though the outside of the book had been corrupted by the colony, the content of the book still keeps secrets to magic often considered blasphemous by priests, used to inflict horrible pain on others, meaning that whoever wrote it still did so with evil intent. We could figure that the creator of this book wanted to exercise power over others. The recurring tarot spell also uncovers a piece of information. Quote, believed to have been lost in a bygone era, this spell was recovered from ruins infested by horrific creatures of unknown origin. You could deduct a before and after situation where a sudden catastrophe changed everything. This spell went through some sort of change. Moving on to the set pieces, the parasitic concoction to me resembles the poison that spread through the guild hall. This mixture consists of the parasitic cells that screwed up everything. And the other set piece of this dungeon, I mean, just the name Hive Mind Circlet gives a clue. But the item description is even more interesting. The parasites are not individual beings, they share a single consciousness. A reference to the Nightmare Colony, which is the pulsating life force of the Parasite Chambers, as explained by the real Mai. The nature of the parasites may be ambiguous, but it is clear that the Nightmare Colony is the root. The fleshy amalgamation of appendages and mores controls the rest of the hive mind, though it is unclear if the organism is truly capable of thinking or feeling. The symbiotic river sums it up pretty well too. The melding of these creatures and their host is one of pain and suffering, and the rags of the hosts sets a nice pairing with the hive mind circlet. The parasites wait until the most opportune time, then strike at their targets. They become hosts to a greater evil, the greater evil being either the wielder of the hide or the colony. As I see it, the white bags serve as a reference for how times were back then and how it evolved/devolved into these corrupted versions of these items. And the set pieces are part of why it happened. The history that the Flesh Collector set is recounting is not just one of the cursed individual that would possess the influence of each of these deeply corrupted items, but also one of the guild's demise. So I might have a conclusion to all of this, which is my final and all-in-one theory. This so far has been my thought process, so let's get into the actual theory. The story of how the Parasite Chambers came to be. Long ago, one hive mind searing with pain and suffering was created by a renowned guild, deep beneath the soil of the realm. The adventurers of the guild, consisting of a diverse range of classes, were developing a powerful mixture said to introduce incredible unprecedented power. A parasitic concoction was produced, proving to be an uncontrollable cell mass. Along with that, a ring was also produced to control the evil, the Hive Mind Circlet. A chosen guild member, remarkably more powerful than the others, was to try on the set pieces. As he equipped the items, the parasitic concoction spilled somehow, infecting the guildie entirely. The player was strangled against the wall and transformed into an unrecognizable ghoul-like mass, which promptly attacked the other present guildies. They sounded the alarm and all the guild rushed to their aid. Each of their attacks were consumed by the creature, only giving it more material to reproduce terrifying minions with, mutated creatures from another world. The sickening odor, poisoning air, and the undefeatable enemy took the lives of each of the guildies, making them slaves of the colony, holding each soul in a constant misery, a living nightmare. The hall itself, positioned underneath the realm, was entirely consumed by the parasitic growth. The guild's vaults were corrupted, where all their researching and resources resorted. The magical items were conscried and overrun with evil to be found by future explorers. The entire guild space was now home to a parasite. The parasites corrupted the guild's outpost throughout the realm, revealing the previously hidden locations that the guild had used to access the realm unseen. Between these ruins, the Nightmare Colony extended its reach of power with a scout colony set up at each ruin, meant to sense the arrival of any intruders before they even reached the underground chambers. Just like a spider, stretching out its cobweb, sensing every bit of vibration for a chance to strike. Just as previously established, the parasites wait until the most opportune time, then strike at their targets. This might be why the original name of the chamber's Parasite Den is comparable to the Spider Den. Half of the set pieces are also dropped by Arachna, and the set itself is for the only poison-based class in the game, the Assassin. That is my take on the Parasite Chambers lore. If you feel like there should be made some minor adjustments, or you have some additional information that might support this theory even more, just let me know in the comments. But guys, as always, I'll have to ruin all the mystery, all the fantasies about this dungeon, since Toasters gave me some information. The creator Krathan never intended this dungeon to be of some specific origin. He just wanted to leave it clear as a mystery. Additionally, quote, "The usage of the Guildhall assets in the treasure room wasn't a deliberate decision, but since the interpretation is pretty creative, we've kind of rolled with it. And that's also why RotMG states it as a theory, but not necessarily a fact." End of quote. That's sort of a bummer, but we'll have to go with it. That's the real story behind the Parasite Chambers. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it, since it gives me an even greater incentive to make more of these. Please do tell me if you'd like a video like this one on another dungeon. I do know there's a lot of concepts out there ready for exploration, so if you'd like to see that explored, let me know. Until then, farewell.